Our regular visits to Amaroo Park always unearth the hometown heroes, names like Terry Finnegan, Ken Matthews, Brian Callaghan and even Barry Graham. And for Barry Graham, he hit the jackpot only a fortnight ago, but in a different category of motor racing. Just as the James Hardy 1000 is the touring car event on the national calendar each year, the Marlborough Grand National is oval track racing's enduro equivalent. One driver who can put both classics into perspective is 35-year-old Sydney racer Barry Graham, lined up recently at Sydney's Liverpool Raceway for his 13th try at the Grand National. Graham and his Formula team turned Speedway sedan racing inside out a decade ago when they produced the sport's first IMSA sedan, an absolute showstopper, but it never won the Grand National. The basic difference between the James Hardy 1000 and the Marlborough Grand National actually deals with the qualifying and the preparation time afforded the drivers. At Mount Panorama at Bathurst, the drivers have 3 days to build up. The track doesn't change. It's asphalt. It's the same every day. And come Sunday morning for the start of the James Hardy 1000, the track is exactly the same as the first lap of practice cut by the drivers. The Liverpool Grand National is a little bit different. It's held on one night of competition, and the track, it changes all night. Qualifying time trials were the first obstacle for all drivers to overcome. American Rodney Combs set the early pace in the Valvoline Firebird, although the racetrack was still a little wet. Combs, a former Bathurst entrant, has few peers on the super speedways in America, and he's a dirt track master. Tasmanian Gene Cook had won the Marlborough Classic 3 times previously, once on dirt and twice on pavement, and his TAA Avanti seemed well and truly on the pace. Graham's qualifying lap was smooth. He makes few mistakes at the best of times, but on this occasion he was the 8th fastest qualifier of the 41 time trialers, and under the inverted start system for the $30,000 100-lapper, that meant a front row starting spot.
A bit of a turnaround from previous years when we've been fairly much the fast boy on the block and been up front, and with the inverted 8, it's not how I set out. I would like to set fast time just for my own sake, but let's put us down there on the outside front row, which is fairly good for a 100-lap race.
The Century Circle Classic field was set, and Graham wasted little time dispensing with the formalities. He outdragged John Leslight into the first half lap and immediately began to set a handy lead. American Rodney Combs and Australian champion Paul O'Neill had it all to do in the traffic, which was particularly heavy in the opening laps. Fastest qualifier Walter Giles and Gene Cook looked smooth as they made their way towards the top 5, but Graham was building his lead all the time. Combs' hopes of a second win in the Grand National were dashed when he was involved in a skirmish. Having a hood flapping at half-mast is definitely a no-no, and the American was to lose 2 laps in the pits, rectifying the problem. Graham continued to play the game of hare and tortoise with the faster cars. He relinquished the lead to Paul O'Neill, figuring the race had every chance of going to the wire without a stoppage and that everyone would be low on fuel. O'Neill lasted till lap 91 and headed to the infield with magneto troubles, and the Sydney speedster then clapped on the pace to lead home Queenslander Darren Munro by a lap, with a further 2 circuits back to Rodney Combs. The Formula team had finally won the Grand National after 12 previous challenges. Graham took the lion's share of the $30,000 purse and was delighted. His cat and mouse game had paid off.
We knew we weren't the fastest car, but we reckon the last 50 laps were the ones that we wanted to be around for. We set up for the end of the race, and we're content to bide our time and see what happened.
Well, you've been able to achieve, I guess, a racing ambition to win the big one as far as the oval track. What's there left now for Barry Graham?
Well, there's a mountain up around Bathurst that's looking pretty good. That's got me in the last few years, and it'd be sure good to knock that one off when you're not the favourite.